I've had instability my whole life. It's not always easy living like this, you know? But, I mean, who wants nowhere secure to go, no one there for them? I mean, God will definitely look out for you. You just have to have faith in Him. You know, now I have, so much more peace.
How are you feeling right now? What are you feeling right now? What is the emotion you're feeling right now?
I'd say right now I feel at ease. You know, I'll be honest. There's times in this walk where I've been like off the handle. Because I've hated living like this. No, seriously. I mean, who wants nowhere secure to go, no one there for them, and hardly any friends? I won't even say that I have friends. I conceptualize that I have friends because, what's a friend? And it seems like nowadays that's becoming even rare. And especially when you have nothing, people don't, I've noticed that people don't want to be around someone who has nothing to contribute. So that's just kind of my idea. But yeah, I feel okay, but I wouldn't say that that's always been the case. I've had instability my whole life. My mom was having a lot of issues, so I had to leave her care and stay with my grandmother because CPS got involved. We'll go into that eventually. But yeah, so fast forward, my mom met a man, and mind you, I had no dad. He is the man that conceived my baby brother. So when I heard about him, I was like, this is the guy. And at the time, I was actually scared of my mother, which is sad to say. But me and my mother are on good terms now, but we've had very, very rough patches and trials. So I'd say, yeah, I hear about this guy that my mom met, and for some reason I just felt like drawn to him. So it was almost like a spiritual thing, because I just felt sometimes in my life I've just felt like things were destined or like meant to be, and yeah, it turns out he was my mom's like true love. Yeah, and so she met him and they moved in together, and so that gave her more stability, and then by the time I was 14, we lost everything. So we went through like a couple good years, and because he did the best he could, even he was actually fresh out of state jail when he met my mom. Yeah, so he was kind of like this noble, valiant street thug, but he really loved my mom and he really loved me, and he did everything he could to provide for us, like no matter how bad it was. So that was kind of what I really admired about him, and he always respected my mom. He would correct me if I would disrespect her. Because, sometimes stuff happens. He went to prison when I was 14. So that's why everything fell apart when I was 14 years old. Everything. So I had friends. I was finally accepted, even though I don't want to say I was accepted for good reasons. I was accepted because I was down to do anything crazy,
Yeah.
like, street stuff. And that's why I was accepted in the neighborhood. And yeah. And yeah, so our door ended up getting kicked in by the police. He went down like 12 different charges. Like for real, like impersonation, credit cards being used, fraudulently that he got from robberies and all, gun charges and all types of stuff. So yeah, when my stepdad went to prison, he was in prison for 7 years. My little brother had nowhere to go. Well, no, at first he was staying with my mom. My mom was staying in like some crack houses. Like, I'm for real. Like, she had nowhere else to go. So she was literally staying on the floor in a crack house. It's not always easy living like this, But, now I have, so much more peace. And I want to say it's not just from experience, but how many times can you bump your head against a wall before you learn to change directions?
Right.
I've been to jail so many times.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, I want to say like 20 times. So that's not fun. And I'm on my last strike.
Yeah.
Seriously. If I go back to jail, that could be the end of Devin's freedom.
Wow.
So, yeah, really God is the reason why I'm free now. Because I got, I got some stupid charges. Yeah, some people I worked for took my money. They took my paycheck because they caught me sleeping one day in the Airbnb that wasn't on the market. And I was the maintenance man, handyman. And they caught me in there one day. And the lady was like, "You're fired, this and that, blah, 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 blah." And yeah, she just went crazy. And Friday came around and they took my whole check.
Because you slept in the Airbnb.
Yeah, which actually is illegal. It's I already know it's completely illegal to do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's illegal for them to just. They would have to have some. It would be trespassing. Do you see what I'm saying? They can't just take your check.
Yeah.
They would have to go through the legal route, and then win the recompense through court. They can't just do it on their own. That's theft.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I broke the law or whatever, which was trespassing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then they would have to trespass me and all that. It has to go through the legal parameters. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I was like, I can't sue these people or whatever, just go down that legal route, which maybe I could have, I don't know. So I took justice into my own hands and I went and pepper sprayed those people. And yeah, I got a felony and misdemeanor. And yeah, so it's not fun. And really, I shouldn't even be out right now because that's just the grace of God, I asked him if I was gonna get out, and he said, "Be patient." I asked him when I was in jail, am I gonna get out? He was like, "Just be patient." I'm like, okay. And I'm out. And he gave me grace,
Yeah.
He completely dismissed. He had 2 of my charges completely dismissed. And I'm still facing 2 more, which I'll probably end up on probation for, which is just crazy, right? 4 charges down to just a free man.
Yeah. We'll take it. We'll take it.
That's God.
That's awesome.
Because I asked him what he has for me, And this was when I was in jail, and I was doing some praying and some fasting. I fasted for like several days, on and off. And anyways, he gave me a couple dreams. You know, he showed me he's going to make my life abundant, and he also showed me that I'm supposed to be involved in mixed martial arts. So it wasn't something that I decided on my own.
Gotcha.
It's really, he planted those desires in my heart because he's going to bring them to pass.
That's right.
Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like maybe you have a desire to be a doctor and it's just planted deep inside of you. You know, like you didn't do that to yourself.
Got
You
it.
know? Yeah. And like even when I was a kid, I wanted a family of my own, you know, and I wanted to experience marriage someday. And I'm like, it's not a curse. You know, like why you have this deep drive and this deep desire and want to have a family and a wife and a beautiful, you know, love, godly marriage type setting. I always wanted that true, deep connection with somebody, but my life has always been so chaotic
Yeah.
that it's almost like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not even worth
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
or wanting anymore. But I've seen God do some things in that area as well, because yeah. But I believe someday, I have a pretty good idea of the plan that He has for me. Like just from the things He's shown me and some of the things, you know, it's kind of like whispered, is that someday I'm going to be well off. I'm going to be well off enough to help other people.
That's good.
Yeah, and so that's why. And yeah, so that's His plan, is to bless me. And I believe I'm going to be married someday. And I'm not going to be living paycheck to paycheck because I need to maintain some type of image. Yeah, like I shop at Ross,
There's nothing wrong with that.
right? Yeah. When I was 18 years old, I used to always go to the mall. Everything had to be from the mall, right? But at the end of the day, who cares what
Right.
kind of boxers you wear?
Right.
$30 pair. Seriously. I used to wear, you know, a $30, you know, or like $50 pants.
Yeah.
If I could, I would wear a $100 pair of pants,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is that you're content with what you have and that you have what you need
Right.
and that you can bless others,
Right.
right? Because if you're making other people's lives hell by not helping them
Right.
at all,
Yeah.
you don't have to go out and start buying people phones or start putting people in hotels per se. If you can,
Yeah.
hey, more glory to you, right? But just even giving someone a sandwich when they need it, God cares about that.
Right.
And so in the Old Testament, God said, He said, how do we rob you? Like, how are we robbing God? What does He mean we're robbing Him? And He said, in tithes and offerings, because my storehouse is empty. What was the purpose of the storehouse? Was helping those in need.
Right.
And people don't realize, right? When they go before Jesus, some He's going to put on His left hand and some He's going to put on His right hand. And to those on His left and right hand, He's going to say, I was hungry. You didn't feed me. Right? To those on the left hand, He's going to say, I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was in jail and you didn't come and visit me. It doesn't just mean that you should visit those who are in jail. It means that when someone's suffering, you know, don't cast them off. Because sometimes you never know who that person is to God. It took years for me to realize that, you know, I need to I need to please God, and that's not by being rebellious and lashing out, because I used to go off, you know. So, yeah, I mean, God will definitely look out for you. You just have to have faith in Him, and you have to repent, because you can't just, you know, go haywire and start, you know, attacking people or whatever. The opposite of that would be to change your ways. Because, yeah, I mean, if I don't change, then I would end up back in jail anyways. And I say that because, you know, I've suffered a lot. You know, I've been in jail many times. I've been rejected many times. I've been left many times by all types of people. And, you know, even if the church rejects me, when I'm laying down at night and the Holy Spirit comes upon me, He gives me comfort. And that He does. And He reminds me that He cares about me even when no one else does.